And welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, especially in light of recent news and developments this past week for Gold Mountain Mining. We have the CEO of Kevin Smith. Kevin's the CEO of Gold Mountain Mining, a new gold producer in Canada. One of the only ones that I've heard this recently that's gone into production. So we have with us the CEO who's going to highlight some recent important developments and why this company is so unique in the junior mining sector, especially getting into production, which is so important on the life cycle of a miner. So thank you, Kevin, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been up at site a lot. You've had a very busy few months. Talk to us about the recent developments, especially with your partner New Gold, that you announced this past week.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Jeb. Really appreciate the opportunity. So as you know, last week we announced that we're delivering ore to New Gold, who's our ore purchase partner. It's a really unique business model in that we mine the ore, sample it on our site, weigh it on our site, and then we deliver the ore to them. They take ownership and all risk of recovery, and we get 89% of the metals payable. So what this contract allows is for us to get up into production with a really low capex and get the cash flow turning over immediately, which we'll use to reinvest into the property to not only scale up our production, which we have plans for in year 4 of our mine plan, but also really continue aggressively drilling this project out and scaling up the ounces in the ground.
I was really amazed in the last news release to see that your mining material is almost over 16 grams per ton gold. So that cost should be pretty relatively low. It seems like a simple mining processing. If you could go through.
Yeah, for sure. So historically, Pit 2 produced 16.7 grams a ton, where I think you're pulling that number from. We're currently mining in that exact same area in the mine right now. This is one of the highest grade sections of our mine plan that kind of justifies firing this mine back up. So, over the life of mine, we're targeting just shy of 7 grams a ton. And our all-in sustaining cost on the life of mine is targeted at $554 an ounce. Now, we get a lot of criticism from people saying, you're a small scale mine, and those are usually rife with cost overruns. But one unique thing we've done is we've built in a lot of cost certainty. So our mining contractor has a fixed cost per ton on not only the waste mining, but also the ore mining, the ore processing, as well as the highway haulage to New Gold. So we've got locked in economics from the mine mouth all the way to New Gold. And then we've already got that locked in contract with New Gold as well, which really gives us a lot of cost certainty in the economics of our project. So really excited, to be kicking off the cash flow, and then we can show the market just what's possible with gold prices where they are today. And obviously, we feel there's a really bright future in precious metals prices as well.
So the Elk Gold Project, you originally got this project, I guess, from Equinox Gold. Can you talk to us about what you've accomplished with the acquisition and all that's led up to this date, all that you've done to lead up to what we're right now to where we could be seeing cash flow on a monthly basis?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you and your viewers probably know, Equinox was from a bunch of mergers and acquisitions that came together. And this was kind of sitting on the shelf and not a primary focus. So our team went in, negotiated a all cash purchase. We put $1 million down in May of 2019. We've made a $3 million payment last May. And then we'll have 2 remaining $3 million payments in May of this year and next year, which we'll pay from cash flow. The project came with 375,000 ounces as a resource, and it was a past producer twice historically. There's a bunch of infrastructure already on the project. There's a decline that's already in place. So we feel we got roughly $60-70 million in value for a $1 million down payment with $9 million in payments spread over the remaining 5 years. So we feel like there was an excellent discount here. We also felt like, the past operators were really focused on high grading and didn't recognize the opportunity to continue drilling this out, really put some focus on the geological model, and they were overlooking the potential of a larger resource here. So since we've taken over the project, we've drilled about 30,000 meters. And in that time, we've brought up the total contained ounces to over 1 million. We still see lots of upside. We've established resources in 2 additional zones on the property. We have another zone called the Elusive Zone, which we just finished drilling out and are waiting results on. We feel like this is another really interesting opportunity. And then on top of that, we've done all the work to get the mine back permitted so that we can put it into production. And as of last week, we're delivering ore. So, we went public December 31st in 2020. We had a really aggressive timeline that we went out with. And despite COVID, some permitting delays, we had some crazy weather up here in BC with floods. I take my hat off to management team, and we really drove this project forward and still managed to get it into production on what were considered some pretty aggressive timelines.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Really, hats off to you and your team, especially in light of what's gone on this past year with COVID. I've heard so many companies with delays or with drilling that hasn't returned, but you've been able to get the job done. Why do you think that your company's been able to do that?
When we built this team, we were operators first. And I think a lot of new mining companies, they start out as exploration, and there's a little bit of a transition when you go into development and then into production. But we've got 2 mining engineers on our team that have permitted and built mines here in British Columbia. So we have a lot of operator experience. We've ran the company extremely lean. We've taken no cash salaries until we deliver ore. So that's something extremely unique and obviously really drives management, to chase the carrot, so to speak, as opposed to just draining the treasury. And no matter how long it takes, you're still getting paid. And we all believe in the project. We've cut large checks into this deal. We're big buyers in the open market. And that has a way of incentivizing you to execute as well. So what we've tried to do is align ourselves as if we were just shareholders in a different company and make sure that we're taking the same approach that we would expect from somebody else that we were investing in. And the model seems to be working out quite well.
And you developed a 1 million ounce resource, and there's 2 drill rigs currently on the property. So this will be able to use the cash flow instead of having to go to the market all the time to fund this growth. Is that what you understand?
Yeah, that's what our hope is, we want to scale up production, number one, but we also want to continue scaling resources. So the idea of getting into this smaller scale production first is to get that cash flow going and use that cash flow to continually expand the project and do it in as non-dilutive manner as possible. That way we keep the structure tight. We continue to reward early and long-term shareholders. And with us being aligned as early and long-term shareholders, we think it's a perfect recipe. I challenge you to go out and find another producer that went public this short while ago that has 70 million shares issued and outstanding and 85 million shares fully diluted. It's a pretty rare feat for a company as new as we are and as far advanced as we are. And we're going to try to defend that as absolutely best we can. And the whole model is built around expanding through the cash flow of this small scale mining so we can get up to that larger 65,000 ounce a year production profile on the Elk, and then look for similar assets where we can go out and repeat this same process and take stuff that other people maybe aren't a big a fan of or think are too much work or it's not worthwhile continuing to develop them, and then turn them into 1 million ounce producers because we feel there's a lot of upside in the gold price. And if we can get into production and these mines can self-feed themselves, they become little cash flow machines and a foundation to build a larger production company off of.
And for investors, Gold Mountain GMTN, they just uplisted to the TSX Big Board. This is really important when you go to meet with institutions. And now that you're in production and you've developed this 1,000,000-ounce resource, I'm hoping to see in the next few months, in the next year, some more bigger names and institutional names get involved. And thank you so much for being here with us today and for giving us an update. It really is incredible that all that you accomplished the past few months, especially in light of all the current events with COVID. You've really done a heck of a job. Hats off. Is there anything else, Kevin, you'd like to conclude about how investors can find more information? You have a great Twitter feed and you have some great videos that you've updated on the Twitter feed. So I really highly suggest investors to go there as well. But if you'd like to conclude and maybe highlight how investors can find out more information or get in contact with you, and any final thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find a lot of information on our website, gold-mountain.ca. As you mentioned, we're super active on Twitter, Instagram. We do a lot of social media videos and pictures so that we can keep our shareholders updated and they know what's going on. But overall, we're just really excited. You know, there's been a lot of developments in the 14 months since we've gone public. And 2022, we're going to continue really driving hard on the business and building it out. So thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce this project to your shareholders and having us on today.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Smith is here with us today, CEO of Gold Mountain Mining, which can be traded as GMTN on the Toronto Stock Exchange Big Board and as GMTNF for U.S. investors on the U.S. OTC. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.